there guys, this is me, Brian from now Malorian Magic, and this is something I want to kind of do to kind of talk about this journey here, where of course before I did this channel to do 40k videos, do fantasy videos, War Machine, and now doing Magic, and the whole point for this recent change for me was for me to do something that connects with my kids, where the stuff I was doing before, it was just taking too much time away from family. I was getting some negative stuff going on, but it was more about the family and trying to find something I could do with my son. I have other stuff I do with my daughter, but my son and I weren't really bonding well, and I was trying to find something. At first I tried War Machine, and it just didn't stick. It just wasn't his game. And so part of what I want to do here as well is maybe just keep a log of how I feel things are going along the way. I assume some of the people out there watching will be other parents who have kids and they're wondering like, hey, maybe this is something I want to do with my kids. I can get them into it. And so I thought maybe something like this that kind of documents this along the way, my thoughts and the challenges I'm having might be relatable to others. So we'll find out. Maybe not, and this could be the last one, but we'll find out here. So Benjamin is my eldest son. He is 8 years old, and we've done a lot of games. However, he is really one of those kind of introvert type of people. If you give him the chance to go into his room and just be on his tablet, he is fine to do that all day. He is not interested in sports. The number one thing that he hates is doing things with strangers. We're also part of scouting and all that fun stuff, and we have to do our fundraisers and go door to door. It is torture for him. For him to be able to go to door and have to talk to a stranger and say, hey, do you want to buy some popcorn? That is the worst for him. I'm almost positive that if I offered to him, hey, either we could go out there and we could do our fundraiser, or I'll drive a nail into your leg, he might go for the nail. That's not really that far out. He might actually go for that. Luckily, that's not the path we took. We tried to find something else to try and do these, and Magic the Gathering is where we kind of went to. One of the things that we had that kind of made me wonder if this is the way to go is that even though we tried a lot of other games like War Machine, a lot of board games, some of the board games he likes doing is, say, like Shadows over Camelot, Dixit, Small World, all those usual type of popular games. But some of the ones he really liked were the Marvel Dice Masters and Pokemon. And those ones seemed to kind of catch his attention, but it seemed like there was just something missing. And so since he had that background, where in Marvel Dice Masters, the battle mechanic is very similar to Magic the Gathering. I believe they're made by the same company, which makes sense. So, you have your power and your toughness, and you compare them, and that's how you know who wins. That type of mechanic is the same. And then going to Pokemon, where you have to do it all with cards, not dice, and with these cards you need to give them energy so they can actually do the stuff. It's kind of the same idea with having cards and needing mana. So it seemed like a good fit for him. And really what my report is so far for doing this a few months in so far is that it has gone fantastically. So I don't know if this applies to all 8-year-olds, if you could take, whatever 8-year-old and do this, but at least in this case here, where I have what I say, semi-typical 8-year-old boy who's just maybe a little bit more introvert than other kids, he loves this game. The fantasy part of it, where there's dragons and goblins and monsters and making them fight and putting them like weapons and all this stuff and doing spells. This is triggering something where it's just fun. And a lot of times we're like, hey, do you want to do a game? Great. Okay, yeah, do you want to do another game? And he will have no problem playing this over and over and over again. He will still go and fall back to his tablet now and then, wants to play like little app games and stuff on there. But he has been loving this, and more importantly, he has been loving doing this outside with others. Like I said, if we had to go out there, go door to door and try and sell popcorn as a fundraiser for scouting, absolutely hates it. Worst thing in the world. Going to the store, to do weekly gaming, or to do a tournament, or a draft, or a pre-release. If you would have asked me before, I would have said like, ooh, I don't know, we're going to have to really ease into this. But he has really embraced it. And I think a big part of it is, of course, the community. There's a lot of people here where when they see him come in, they are super nice to him. And I'm sure they're super nice to everyone. But it seems like when I'm trying to watch on the side as, you know, he gets his pairings and I'm over here and I'm trying to talk to my opponent, but of course I'm watching to make sure he's getting along over there. They're all super nice and they're all helping going through and having lots of fun. And I don't know if sometimes they'll like throw one game so that they win in 3 rather than winning in 2, but he always comes back saying that he had really fun times playing in all of his games, even when he gets crushed. He loses every single game. It's great. He got to do stuff and it's all going well, and he's talking to new people all the time. This is fantastic. So one of the things that we'll have to see how it develops is, of course, if that's going to continue or whether the shine of it will dissipate over time. Also, just going to see how his skills develop. One of the things he's really doing right now that he's holding on to is that he doesn't want to break up decks. Here on the shelf, this is where he keeps lots of his stuff here, and he has all his different decks there. It's like, well, okay, well, why don't you make a new deck? Well, you know, this cards I like is in this deck, and all my mountains are already tied up in these decks. It's like, well, you know, you can take those out. You can always remake what you want. Oh, I don't want to do that. So that's kind of interesting, and I know that's not just really a thing showing maturity. I know there's people who do that regardless. That's just their style, as they make this is this deck, this is this deck. But it's neat to see how that goes, and especially where we do things where this is a draft, this is a pre-release, and you have to take these cards and decide how you're going to make them, right? And I kind of want to help develop and work the strategy with him, saying, hey, what are you doing? What's your process? What are you trying to do when you go through these? However, I think that might have been what killed his War Machine spark, is because in that I was trying to develop him, saying, hey, if you position these units here, if you try and use your caster this way, if you look at these spells and try and counter my spell, I think that kind of made him lose interest in War Machine, was the fact that it was turning into a lecture. So I don't want to get there. I want to tease there and try and prod him towards trying to do some challenging thinking and trying to do some problem solving, but I don't want to make a lecture out of it. So it'll be interesting if I can actually figure out a good way to do this. Maybe part of it is not me at all. Maybe just saying, hey, you want to watch your tablet? Hey, well, you know, maybe you should watch some of these magic channels where they teach you about these different strategies, and maybe where it comes from somebody else and not me might actually help and click with him a little bit more. So I guess that in summary, as a father, I feel this is going fantastic. You know, for something where I just didn't really have something before that I could really connect with my son. You know, we'd had the scouting where it kind of had some stuff, but, you know, I have other kids I have to kind of be working with because I'm the main leader. This has been a main thing where we can bond and we can do it, and he loves it. And it's not just stuff with me, it's really helping this whole, where he would normally, like I said, be able to be fine hiding in his room in his pajamas watching videos all day. This is something that brings him out, and then he's talking to strangers and having fun. So there you go. There's my update for my father blog, whatever I want to call this. But yeah, we'll see how this progresses over time. I'm not going to be making these videos all the time. Maybe just when something significant happens, or maybe like, you know, every set type thing. So maybe another 3-4 months. But yeah, we'll see how this progresses. And, you know, for my part as being a dad as well, I'm also loving this. I like doing whatever games are out there. And if this is the one that my kids like doing, I'll do it with them. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. If you have any other thoughts and comments about maybe if you're a father or mother who's getting your kids into the game and this worked for you, or maybe there's some challenges you're having, you know, let's share these things back and forth, and we can all kind of help our kids through this together. So there you go. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. Bye.